Hey, Christ Community family, grace and peace to you. I pray that all of you are healthy and well. It's December already. Time is flying, and I pray that your Advent season has just been full of love and grace thus far. We've almost completed our study through the Heidelberg Catechism, and I pray it's been a blessing for you as it has been a blessing for me. And for this week, on this first week of December, we have come to Lord's Day 49. So let me read the question and answer for us before I share some reflections. Lord's Day 49, question and answer 124. What does the third petition mean? Answer: your will be done on earth as it is in heaven, means help us and all people to reject our own wills and to obey your will without any backtalk. Your will alone is good. Help us one and all to carry out the work we are called to as willingly and faithfully as the angels in heaven. Now, church, if you pause and reflect on each and every aspect of the Lord's Prayer, it's so powerful because it's the prayer that the Lord has taught us to pray at all times. It's the prayer that the Lord has taught us to apply in our lives. Now, many times as human beings, we like to do what we want to do. We think we know what we need to do. We think we know best because we are experienced with it, or we feel like we know and have more wisdom and knowledge with it. So we think we know best. Whether it's in our homes, our workplaces, our friendships, the moment that we act on what we think is best for us is also the moment that we completely disregard what God wants for us. You see, when we declare the words, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven, the first step in applying that into our lives means that we need to reject our own will. Too many times we're so busy saying, I want this, I want that, or even, well, I think that's the best thing to do. I think this, I think that. We're so busy that we don't pause to pray. We don't pause to discern. But you see, I think this is incredibly formative and powerful. That our first step isn't necessarily to try to find God's will. What the Catechism is teaching us is that our first step that we need to do as God's people is to reject our own will. That's God acknowledging the fact that because of our fallenness, because of our humanity, our innate human nature causes us to think about our wants and our wills first. So we need to reject that if we want less of us and more of Christ. It's a real ongoing battle and burden in our hearts. It's not easy. It's an ongoing battle to learn to discern what the Lord wants us to do in that moment versus what we want to do. Now, it's difficult. That's why it's hard being a Christian. But at the same time, that's why it's all the more important to reject our own will in acknowledgement of the fact that God is the creator, God is the sustainer, and that God rules our lives and not us. Second, we need to trust God's will. Psalm 119, verse 129 through 131 teaches us this, that your testimonies are wonderful. Therefore, my soul keeps them. The unfolding of your words gives light. It imparts understanding to the simple. I open my mouth and pant because I long for your commandments. There's a difference between just acknowledging that God's will is perfect and best for us and trusting and living in obedience that God's will is perfect and best for us. We reject our own will so that what? We can trust God's will. It's not either or, it's a both and. It's the same thing as the less we doubt, the more we trust. The more we doubt, the less we trust. You see, trusting God's will and being obedient in that God's will is perfect and good for us won't mean a thing if we don't do this. And that brings us to our third point. We must carry it out. You got to live what you believe. We have to apply what we trust. We have to live it out. We have to carry it out. We have to carry out God's call on our lives. Just because we trust something doesn't mean a thing if we don't apply it and carry out God's testimony and how we trust and how we believe that God's will is perfect for our lives. Church, my hope and prayer is that this lesson, this entire journey through the Heidelberg Catechism can be a challenge for us to continue to yearn to live out that calling, to live out that testimony. Less of us and more of Christ. Less of us and more of Christ. May we remember that when we say, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. May the Lord bless you and keep you this week. God bless.